When Vontaze Burfict got ejected and subsequently fined last week for his hit on Jack Doyle, it of course wasn't the first time that he's been involved in such a situation. However, now people are talking about whether or not it will be the last time he's involved in such a situation, as there are doubts that he will ever make a return to the NFL. So, in honor of the longest suspension ever handed out for in-game conduct and the potential end of Burfict's controversial career, I thought I'd take you through every single one of Burfict's fines and suspensions in the order that they occurred. Burfict's career started in 2012, but we actually only start in 2013, as in week 3 Burfict made a name for himself picking up 2 fines in the same game, one for a crotch shot on tight end Ryan Taylor, and another for a much more classic Burfict penalty, a hit on the defenseless James Jones. He followed it up in week 8 with a penalty for spearing Jets receiver Stephen Hill, taking his season tally to 3 fines, no suspensions yet, and $52,000 paid out to Mr. Goodell and his friends. In year 3, Burfict kept quiet, picking up only 1 fine in week 6 for 2 infractions against the Panthers, where he was caught purposely twisting the ankles of both Cam Newton and Greg Olsen. That cost him $25,000, taking his career total up to $77,000 in fines after only 3 years in the league. Year 4 was a big one for Burfict, but it all started pretty late. He picked up his first fine in week 14 for a combination of unsportsmanlike conduct plays against, well, who else but the Steelers. Well, this was actually the first occasion involving the Steelers, but we all know where this goes. Not happy with just a $69,000 fine, Burfict continued in week 17 against another division rival, the Baltimore Ravens, taking a knockout shot on tight end Max Williams on the complete opposite side of the field to where the play was going. However, it was in the wild card round against the Steelers where Burfict would pick up his most infamous fine for a monster hit on Antonio Brown. It cost Burfict $500,000, a 3-game suspension. It cost the Bengals the game, and following recent events, people are claiming it cost Antonio Brown his mental health. Burfict finished the 2015 season paying out $622,000 over 3 fines and picking up a 3-game suspension. Coming into year 5, Burfict had paid out just a little over $700,000 in fines so far in his career, and I guess that's how he made it all the way to week 6 before picking up another one for stomping on New England Patriots running back LeGarrette Blount after a touchdown. And as a matter of fact, after a season of keeping his infractions in his own division, this year he kept them exclusively in the AFCE East, picking up another fine for giving a middle finger to the Buffalo Bills fans after sacking quarterback Tyrod Taylor. And Burfict only paid out $87,000 in his 5th year in the league, so I guess he couldn't wait to get started in his 6th, the 2017 season. Of all the suspensions he's had, this might be the craziest. Burfict was suspended for 3 games after an illegal blindside hit on Kansas City fullback Anthony Sherman and was fined $1.4 million. The craziest part? This happened in week 2 of the preseason. Burfict couldn't even make it into the regular season before he started handing out whiplash. Having now served 6 games in suspensions as a result of his conduct, you'd think Burfict would think twice about his actions. But he only made it as far as week 7 before being fined for this play where he kicked Steelers fullback Roosevelt Nix. Now, I'd argue this was probably the tamest of his plays he's been fined for, but at this point he has a strong reputation and he'd already paid a career total of almost $2.2 million and was probably paying the wages for half of the NFL staff at this point. In Burfict's 7th season, we come to our first and only asterisk, as Burfict started the season serving a 4-game suspension and paying a $1.8 million fine for using performance-enhancing drugs. Now, we can choose to ignore this or count it, but for now, I'm counting it. And I didn't have any footage to show here, so this is a very low-quality video of Burfict preparing for the NFL. And I mean, what kind of play did you expect from a guy who prepared for the NFL by pushing a car around a parking lot? Now, once he was no longer suspended, he got back to his old ways, picking up fines for 2 hits against Antonio Brown and James Conner in a week 6 game against the Steelers. Now, this hello to old old friends cost him $112,000. Then in week 13, Burfict was fined for what I would argue was his biggest collision yet, going in headfirst into this tackle on Broncos fullback Andy Yanovich. For anyone keeping count, that's the third fullback. That hit only cost him $53,000, taking his career total up to $4.2 million, or $2.3 million, not including the PED suspension. And then finally we come back around to this play, the play that might well be his final ever, but somehow I doubt it. For someone who at this point in his life has paid over $5.3 million in fines, I can't see this being any more than just a temporary setback. Now, considering his record-breaking suspension, Burfict is a player and a problem the NFL has never seen before. He has at no point shown an interest in changing his style of play, and considering he was named a team captain in his first year with the Raiders, I think enough players and coaches value him highly enough to give him another chance. After picking up 15 fines, missing 18 games to suspensions for his on-field actions, and paying out over $3.5 million in fines, I don't think this is the end of Vontaze Burfict's story. Not quite yet.